Cut it. We don't need that thing. We don't need to count down. Like 30 seconds says a lot, you know. I
Ah,
wish that thing was like 15 seconds. It's a little music thing we put up. It has a
5, 4, 3,
countdown.
2, now. All right.
Right. Like, okay, I'm sick of waiting. All right, here we are. Welcome to Touchback
Uh,
Tuesday, week 11 recap. Whew, this week was bizarre. Well, I'll say bizarre. I think that's the right word.
yeah.
Word of the week.
Yeah.
Right. Been waiting for this crazy NFL weekend that just like blows everyone's mind. You know, games have been close a lot, but you know, we haven't seen a ton of upsets this year, one here or there. But this week was just a lot of great football, a lot of crazy games. Not just the Bills Vikings, like there was all kinds of craziness going on. The Green Bay Dallas game ended up being great. You know, we had a first time head coach here in week 11, you know, which is kind of unique, but also bizarre.
Week 11, yeah.
I thought the Lions Bears game was great.
Oh, that was crazy too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just a really bizarre weekend. But yeah, I ended up going down to Yankee Stadium and watched
saw.
Portica in Ithaca Division III game. 40,000 people went to that game.
Yeah, the Cortland Ithaca game, famous here in New York State, right? So yeah, not bad. 40,000 people in Yankee Stadium. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. It looked good. I saw some of the pictures on
Yeah.
Heather's Instagram. So
Yeah. And I'm just like I watch a lot of college football. Not as much. I'm mostly an NFL person, but I do watch some college football. But I can't tell you the last time I watched a high school / Division III game. So like it just looked like a bunch of little guys out there, you know?
Yeah, definitely, right? Yeah, it's a lot different than NFL or even, you know, the D1 kids who end up in the NFL or half of them that don't make it, right? And they're
Right.
still 3 times the size of them, but it's fun. You know, I went to
It
St.
is
John
fun.
Fisher. They're in that same league, and that was, you know, always fun to watch those games and be at those games and go on
Yeah.
the runs. Who won the game? I don't even know who won that game.
Ithaca won the game
Yeah,
34-17, no
I thought
contest.
Ithaca is pretty good this year.
And they've
So
been
yeah,
about 50-50 the last few years or so. You know, they kind of take turns winning. I want to say Ithaca's won 2 or 3 times in a row now.
mm,
But I think between like 2010 and, you know, there's an 8-year run between 2010 and 2020. Cortland won 8 years in a row or something like that. So it's a back and forth rival. You know, it's not like you know, like some places like it's a rival, but then one team wins every single time. Right. So it's like, you know, the Bills and the Patriots used to be a rival, but then the Patriots just
we
win
ate them
twice every year. So it was kind of one
for a
sided, you know.
long time. Yeah, yeah.
Where'd you watch the game? Did you watch it at home?
The Bills game? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I was home watching it in the man cave.
Okay, good. That's
Obviously
safe for like the
not
public.
yeah.
Yeah. No one got choked.
Oh my god.
You're not in jail, so that's
Yeah.
good.
Oh my gosh. It was brutal, obviously, but yeah, it was so funny too because Kathy took Logan out to go do some shopping and get some stuff done, and she was like, "You want me to wait till the game's over?" I'm like, "Well, it's the fourth quarter. The game's close. You might as well just go and I'll watch the game and you can come back." So she calls me to like come back and I don't answer because it's like I'm like, "No, I can't." Like it's
Yeah.
going into overtime. Yeah,
You're
everybody
not
thought the game was over when it
right.
wasn't, but
Not
yeah.
emotionally
Exactly.
stable right now.
Couldn't even I mean, I don't even know what my reaction was. I don't even know if I was even I know I was screaming, but I was screaming at nothing. Nobody was here, nothing, just me and the TV. So it was pretty brutal. Brutal game that I would love to forget, but it brought back all those feelings of being a Bills fan for so long in my life and dealing with disappointments like that.
Yep, and that's just part of football. You know, it happens every year. No one's immune to that, right? Even if you were the undefeated Patriots back in 2007, you lost the Super Bowl. That had to hurt so bad. Like
Mhm.
nobody's immune to it. There's only one happy fan base every year. You know, it's week 11. The Bills have a lot of games left, right? And that's the same for Dallas fans. They're probably feeling a little bummed out today because we thought the
Oh my
Packers.
gosh.
Everyone's writing the Packers off, but all of a sudden they found some offense, right? So,
No,
but it's a long season.
Dallas blew it. They didn't find
Dallas is what's tougher for these teams in the East, right? The NFC East, the AFC East, because it's neck and neck, and every team is good, right? So it's like a loss really does matter,
Yeah.
big time. The Bills dropped 2 spots. Dallas now drops to the 3rd spot in the division. So it's like you just can't afford to take a week off in these 2 divisions right now. But they still have to play each other a lot, so that'll be a lot to look forward to there. But let's get into your bets. Made and missed. Let's take a look here. Obviously, Dallas hurts you.
Oh, Dallas, the big one. Yeah. So that was the big one. -5, 2-touchdown lead going into the 4th quarter, thinking you're going to get the easy W. And I started watching the game at that point and saw the tragic breakdown there. And then even going into overtime, I'm like, oh, well, at least if they score a touchdown, I could still pull this off. And sure enough, they just completely break down and blow it. Not a fun thing to watch when you have money on the line. So it was disappointing to say the least. But Dallas totally blew it for me. Big L there. The good thing is the Titans right behind them were a big W. So that game worked out basically exactly how I thought it would. The Titans, what would the Broncos score? 10 points. I think I even
10, yep.
I think I even called the final score in that game, 14-10. It was
well, that's easy because the Broncos always score 10.
Exactly. And then they score nothing else, right? So they couldn't do anything, obviously. 10 points in 4 quarters of play is bad. But the Titans, they did what they had to do to win that game. And then it brings us to the Saints. I know Eric's loving this one because the Saints did put up a stinker against the Steelers, a team they should have beat, and they got the L. So there's another big L for me there.
You believe me now.
I believed in the Saints. Now I have to back off a little bit. We'll see. The 49ers, they won by 6. So depending on when you bet this game, the line was moving a little bit. But so that one is a push, putting us at 1-2. The Dolphins was a win, right? They took care of business. I was worried that one could get close, but it did at times. But they were able to pull away. Yep. So easy one there. That's a W. Now we're 2-2-1 with the push, and then you got tonight's game, the Washington Commanders with 10.5 points. I think they can keep it close in this division rival game that they've been playing a lot better. Philly's undefeated, but I think the record looks a little bit better than they totally are. I don't think there's some NFL dominating team right now. They're really good, but they're not that good. And against a divisional opponent, 10 plus points should get you the W. So if Commanders win, we'll be on the winning side at 3-2-1. If the Commanders lose, we'll be at 2-3-1. So it's in the Commanders' hands tonight for the fate of the week. And again, we've only ever had, out of 10 weeks now, we've had one losing week, and that was week 2. The percentage is still there. Even if the Commanders lose, we'll be right at about 65% on the season, which is insane to be this deep and that high of a percentage. Still looking for that 6-0. You'll have to tune in for my next picks this coming week. I'm a little more excited about these ones. So hopefully they pay off a little better than this week. Although we did get some action in there depending on how you split it up.
Yeah, I've been hitting the 500s lately, huh?
I know, right? It's tough. It's the grind of the season right now. But most people would beg to be at 500. Most people who pick games and professionals are like, true. Yeah, 500 is a win for you. So
yeah, good point there. And still got one on the table. So Commanders been playing pretty well, so there's a good chance.
I know. I hope they at least hang.
I kind of like that bet as well, but we'll take a look. All right,
gotta do better though. Gotta get that 6-0. Gotta get
at least one. Yeah, shit. At least 6-0. That'd be fun. I know. Let's jump into it here. We got Jeff Saturday taking over and beats the Las Vegas Raiders. Like, how hard is it to coach in the NFL, really? Guy comes in off the street. I mean, maybe he showed up at training camp or something, to see the team or whatever. But, like, a former player just walks in, gets a win over the Raiders. What do you think? Are the Colts really good now, or are the Raiders really bad? Because the Colts, they have the Colts offense all of a sudden.
Yeah, well, explosive. I mean, I think it's the Raiders. I think the Raiders, we talked about this in the setup for this game. It was win or you're completely done, Raiders, and they lost embarrassingly. So the Raiders are, in fact, completely done. They should just pack their bags and go home. They don't need to play a game the rest of the season. They are done. And it was, again, embarrassing to lose to that team that's reeling, to that coach who literally just walked in the door the Monday before. Like, it's really, really not good if you're the Raiders right now. And I think it all has to fall on their shoulders. Yeah, good credit to the Colts for finally putting some points up. But again, I think that's mostly because the Raiders defense just fell apart. They had a player retire to this week, right? So they're I mean, it's been a rough season for a team that brought in one of the best players in the NFL and
Well,
thought they were going to
yeah,
compete,
and Jonathan Taylor's back from injury, so that was huge for the Colts.
of course. But
They went with Matt Ryan,
yeah, they did. Yeah,
which I thought was a no-brainer, right? And Matt Ryan looked good, 21 of 28, 222 yards, touchdown, no picks. So, you know, think about, I mean, was this Jeff Saturday's doing? I'm very confused about this
I
whole
think it's
situation.
I think it's a couple of things. Whenever you fire a coach, any team, you're in a bad place and that coach gets fired. Whoever takes over is going to change the momentum just by being there, right? They're all going to give the same speech. I know we're in a bad spot, but guess what? We're going to do things differently, and now we're going to take charge, and that alone is going to rally everybody a little bit. And I think that happened in this case with the Colts. Everybody was rallied a little bit. Okay, we were in this confused state of what the hell's going on. We're starting a rookie, and now all of a sudden Jeff Saturday, who can give a passionate speech in the locker room because he's a former player, right? He knows how to talk to them guys. I don't think he knew any scheme. I don't think he made any decisions. He literally just walked in the door. So to do any of that would be ridiculous. I think he just said he made the decision to go with Matt Ryan, obviously. And he said, all right, guys, here's what I think we need to do differently, and gave that passionate speech. And it was enough to overcome a crappy team this year, a team that is literally being flushed down the toilet. So, I mean, poor Raiders, but that's what they've played like all year. It's a fact. So it stinks to be them, but that's where they found themselves.
Right. That's exactly how it went. Yeah, they're up in every category. Over 200 yards rushing, 200 yards passing, 6 for 11 on third
That's
down.
not. Yeah, that's a big stat. Yeah.
So it's the same team though. Trying to look up their third down percentage on the season real quick. Let's see
Right.
here.
It was
Right
not
here.
good before this. They were punting. Would they punt like 15 times in one game? I think it was nuts.
Let's see.
That game against the Broncos, was that the Thursday night? I don't remember, but it was really, really rough.
Oh yeah, they're 23rd on third down percentage on the season, 37%. Yeah, this game 54%. A lot of that's Jonathan Taylor too, right? Jonathan Taylor's out. That's a killer. He's the you trade away a running back in Nyheim Hines. Zach Moss had 1 carry in this game, so that hurt. I mean, that's definitely part of it. And what is this Sam Ellinger thing about? What was the Sam Ellinger thing about? Now that Matt Ryan's back, was the coach blaming Matt Ryan?
Well, I mean, Matt Ryan was playing like, in his defense, Matt Ryan was playing like crap and did deserve to be benched. The problem was you had nothing else to go with, right? Sam Ellinger is certainly not the answer, a 6th round quarterback, right? And it was never had a snap, and he played like a rookie. So I think Jeff Saturday came in and said, we can win a game, we can make a statement if Matt Ryan's in the game, right? If the rookie's in, well, not rookie technically, but if the young kid is in who's never played or only played a couple games, how is that going to work in our favor? And yeah, so I think he wanted to get a win, which now is also a confusion with this team. Are we actually trying to compete now? We just fired our coach. We were playing a rookie quarterback. Now we're all of a sudden turning the page and we want to win games. Like, is this a good thing, a bad thing?
Right.
If you're the fan base, you're stuck in a state of shock, limbo. Yeah. I don't know what you wanted out of this.
I don't want to get too carried away because it was the Raiders, and the Raiders got big problems.
Exactly. I don't think this momentum will continue for this team.
But I mean, we're just looking around the league going, first year head coach in Miami. There's a first year head coach in Minnesota.
Oh God, he's doing very well.
They're just making it look easy. And then Jeff Saturday comes in off the street and gets a win in the NFL.
Right. At least those other two guys.
How hard is it? How hard is it to win in the NFL?
Those other two guys have every bit of experience other than being the head guy, right? Every bit of experience they could get. They have plenty of years in the NFL.
I think Mike McDaniel was an offensive assistant. He wasn't even the coordinator, right?
He was the coordinator. I think so, in the run game. And so he worked his way up. Regardless, he's been around the NFL.
That's like saying you're Bill Belichick's defensive coordinator. It's like,
Yeah.
with Kyle Shanahan, he's running the show there.
Yes, but for Saturday to walk in the door, not even know this roster really, and get a win, that's a pretty big deal. Although it is against probably the team that has let down the most in the NFL this season. So count that for what it is. And you're talking about the other two teams competing with really good teams. Buffalo, they both beat Buffalo. They both, are fighting for division lead, playoff spot. And we're not predicted to be as good as they are right now. And I actually was high on both of those teams because I was thinking about their roster and how good their teams are and how the coach could just maintain that level to get them to more promised lands. And yeah, they're exceeding expectations for sure.
Yeah, and how about the Raiders though? With a guy like Josh McDaniels, you just think he'd be better, right? This guy's been a great offensive coordinator. Won
Never been a
tons of
good head
Super
coach.
Bowl. His coaching record's awful.
Yeah.
Also, let's not forget about the Josh McDaniels bailing on the head coaching job in Indianapolis a few years ago. Right, took the job and then backed out later. It's kind of left a sour taste in everyone's mouth, right? So maybe that was some of the motivation in this game. But yeah, good for Jeff Saturday. You love to see it. Guy comes in off the street and gets a win. So, the Colts, let's see where they are in the playoff thing here. Let's see if he can turn this around, right? They're 4-5-1. They're 3 spots out of the playoffs right now. New England having the 7th spot. Chargers, Bengals, Colts are the first 3 out. But really, their better chance to just win the division. Tennessee gets another win, so they're 6-3.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot harder now that they have 2 wins tough already.
They already lost to Tennessee twice.
Mm-hmm.
So really,
I don't see a path for them to make it. Other teams.
Well, they're only
really,
one.
Really
yeah, it really. Well, the AFC East is all in the playoffs right now, which we'll talk more about later. But they have to play each other. So a couple of these teams will have 5 losses, 6 losses. Really, the Colts just got to win all the games, right?
And I don't see that happening either.
But like the Chargers, I don't think are a playoff team anymore.
What does the Colts schedule look like moving forward? Let's take a look. Do you have that pulled up?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Let's see some of their upcoming opponents.
Yeah, so they beat the Raiders.
Eagles. Don't think they're going to win that one.
Steelers Monday night.
Steelers winnable
Cowboys.
For sure.
Looks like a primetime game.
Vikings.
That's Thanksgiving, right? No,
December
Monday
4th.
night after Thanksgiving. Then they have December 4th. That must be
Cowboys.
That's Sunday, right? Yeah. Okay, so that's Sunday night football. Vikings, Chargers, Giants, Texans. They're not making the playoffs.
Yeah, there's too many, like the Giants and the Chargers, the Vikings and the Cowboys and the Eagles. You're talking 6 of the games are against top opponents, and then you have the Steelers and Texans in there. Yep. One of those being a division rival who's always going to play you well. So, yeah, I don't think they even get to 500. Well, no, there is no 500, but you know what I mean. I don't even think they sniff the playoffs after this.
Yeah,
this was their season-ending moment for them.
They got me confused.
They put their flag in the ground. They buried the the Raiders, and that's the end of their season.
Yeah, just keep Sam in there, Sam Ellinger, and then tank the season. You should have stuck that out.
Mm-hmm.
Don't bring in a coach who can win games for you.
Yep.
Anyway,
Weird.
All right, let's get on to the next topic here. We probably saw the game of the year, right? To this point, the Vikings-Bills in overtime. Really crazy back and forth game. Rare things that happen, like fumbling in the end zone, defensive touchdown after the Bills defense stops Kirk Cousins on the 1-yard line 4 times, or the goal line 4 times.
Usraba.
But like just that series of events is just wild. It's just wild, and it makes it fun. We all think Josh Allen's going to bring the team back and win. And he just throws another uncharacteristic red zone interception. So all those things combined, what a hell of a game. Not to mention the Vikings come back from 17 points down.
Yes. First things first, Eric. This is my Super Bowl pick. If this was a Super Bowl, NFL fans would be going absolutely nuts, and so would the NFL. This would have been absolutely insane, right? An unbelievable Super Bowl. If this was it, it would have been one of the most entertaining Super Bowls in NFL history by far. NFL would be raking in the big bucks from this game, right? So I think they're happy with that. However, before we start any conversation, because obviously we're not happy with the outcome of this game, I have to preface it by saying that the Bills were not at 100%. They had lots of injuries to the defense, a little bit on offense, but mostly the defense. The backfield, Poyer being out, we were down. Trey White didn't play again.
I mean, it's a
Kyer
nice
Elam,
nice
lots of
feeling.
guys, lots
Sure,
of guys
Tremaine
down.
Edmonds is a huge one, right?
Edmonds went down during the game, and really, to me, that was the turning point. Edmonds was playing, and the game was great. Edmonds went out, and all of a sudden, the game really turned on its head. So Tremaine Edmonds a big part. Obviously, he's the play caller on defense, and that made a big impact on this game. The Vikings, they were without their number 2 cornerback, and that was really it for them. They were pretty much at full health. So the Vikings, they took advantage of that in this game. It helped them to a win. But what we saw on the field, if it is a rematch in the Super Bowl, I am feeling really, really good about it because I'm pretty confident. We know Trey White will be back. Poyer might be back by then. I mean, it's going to be a much better defense than what the Bills put up yesterday. Now we can discuss the mistakes. Now we can discuss the anger, because a lot of mine is geared at Sean McDermott. The head coach has to take the blame. That 4th and 2 in the red zone where Josh threw the interception, I was screaming at the TV before that. Why aren't you kicking the field goal? Why aren't you taking the points? Make it a 3-score game. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're trying to slit the throat before you kick the field goal, before you beat them? Just beat them. You don't need to slit their throats.
But you're there on 4th down. You could put the game away right there.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
If they don't get it, if they don't get it, the Vikings have the ball at the 1-yard line. The Bills know they're banged up. They don't want to, Justin Jefferson's heating up at this point. Dalvin Cook's already scored at this point. I think if the right call is to put the dagger in and let's get out of here, right? And that's what they're trying to do. So I'm not going to blame the coach for going for it on 4th down there.
No, kick the field goal. Take the point. 3
I agree.
Scores,
I would have took
possessions.
the points.
You elongate the game at that point.
I mean, if we kick the points, it's still a 13-point lead, right? Still 2 scores.
No, it would have been a 3-score game. It would have been a 16-point lead.
Let's check that out.
At the time, it would have put us up 3 scores. And that is why I'm upset about it. It was the next drive, I think, that Cook scored. It was before Cook scored.
Dalvin Cook, 81-yard run. That's the scoring summary. That was in 3rd quarter. When was the interception? Do you remember?
What time period? Quarter, I think.
So minute 34 into the game, Cook gets the score into the 3rd quarter. Okay, so let's
go play by play here.
Let's go. So it's 17.
The Bills had the interception.
24-27. It's 17-27. It would have been 13 points.
13 points. 2 touchdowns. So they went for it.
To put the dagger in, because it would have been a 3-score game. But if they took the 3, it would have been a 13-point lead, not a 10-point lead.
Correct. 13 and not 10.
Yep. So I don't blame them there for that.
Well, that was only the beginning. I forgave him for that, even though I was like, okay. The one that I find, I still am wondering, what did they get the wrong play call? Did Sean McDermott even know what was being called on offense? After the defense stopped them at the goal line and were celebrating because there's 44 seconds left or whatever it was, and you get the ball back, that botched handoff, I don't know if it was Josh Allen's fault or what, but it was botched, fumble in the end zone, and Minnesota scores. Even when they lined up, I said, why isn't Josh Allen in shotgun? Why isn't Josh Allen in shotgun?
But first, the Bills defense did a great job stopping the Vikings.
Yes.
And stopped Kirk Cousins on the inch-yard line, stopped him short.
It
was short. It was reviewed and everything, and it was short. So great effort there, right?
And
And now the problem is you're
it was
inches from the goal line,
exactly.
right?
I
You just
wanted
can't have
Josh
that.
Allen to be in shotgun, stand as far back as you can, just get him the ball, put a few guys for a screen. If it's not there, have him heave it as far as he can, and it's out of bounds, right? Okay. And you do that a couple of times until you can find some
It's
space.
tough because I think
Sneaking in under the
right.
guy. What are you even trying to do? You're going to get another half a yard?
We're
How is
trying to get
that
a
going
little
to help
space,
you at all?
but I think
If you
that's
fall forward, it's not going to help you.
bro, that's their highest percentage play. It's got to be up there as a high percentage play to go forward, right? Josh Allen sneak, he's the best in the league at that. Especially with a little push from Gabe Davis, that's been working for him.
It has, but they didn't have
But
that on.
but no, they
So
they botched the snap, right? So
they
the
botched
play
the
no, the
snap.
play never happens. So, but that's why it's called.
I
You
think,
fall
but in
forward, you
that
get 2 yards.
situation,
Now you can run the ball, right, and run the clock.
yes, there's ways to defend it, but in that situation, even before the snap, I was like, Josh should be taking a snap here, like deeper, like deep as he can, take the snap, screen play, get a few yards, or even if Josh ran it from there and he could throw it away, obviously, if he needed to. But
Well, the
at
problem,
that
yeah,
point, you're just trying to kill clock,
right.
right?
So throwing
You're
the ball is
only
a
trying
bad
to kill clock.
idea because if you get an interception,
No, you
you know,
don't throw the ball.
but why
I'm
is he
not
gonna be in
saying
shotgun?
I'm saying he's way back as far as he can get so that he can toss a screen. Not and only
Yeah,
if it's, okay, you have a
hindsight.
screen on each side.
There's no good
And
way to
then
run
when
that
there
play.
isn't a guy, you let Josh scramble a little and then you just toss it as far as you can out of bounds because that clock ticks until that ball
Sure.
goes out
But
of
the
bounds.
problem is then you're back to the same spot you were in the
And you
same
do
exact
that
spot.
4 fucking times. That's what I'm saying.
And you don't
Do that 4 fucking times and you
okay.
win the
But
game.
then you gotta punt, and it's even tighter to
You don't
punt.
punt. You take a fucking knee. And then
Then
there's 12 seconds
Anthony,
left
you're not
and you
making any
win the
sense.
game.
You're not making any sense because if they don't
You
punt,
give
then they
them
get
the
to
2
give them the
points.
ball. I don't think there's enough time to run the clock out. Was it? I think they had timeouts, right?
You definitely had enough time if you do that. 1 screen completion is all you needed. You do that same play 4 fucking times.
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to go back and look and see
And the
what the
4th time is
timeouts
when
and
you say,
scenarios
okay, we're
was.
taking the safety, right? We're taking the safety, and then we punt the ball back to them. We nail them deep with 24 seconds left. They hadn't been able to put together a quick drive at all. It was when they were effective was with time and in the pocket and plenty of time to do stuff. When you know they have to throw, then you drop the guys back in coverage. That's going to be a lot harder for them.
Yeah.
With 20 seconds left to score a touchdown.
Right. So Josh did a great
Even
job
if you
driving
gave them
the
2
team
points.
down. They really got to the 5-yard line, and you had 5 seconds on the clock. You consider throwing taking a shot at the end zone there, but you just can't risk it. So they kicked the 3. We had to overtime. Bills lose the field goal.
The other
They
interesting
lose
fact, by the
they
way,
lose the coin toss, not the field goal.
yeah,
In
the
overtime.
coin
That
toss.
sucked.
The Bills have lost 11 out of 12 coin tosses. How is that? I mean, I'm a scientist, right? And I know probability. I know my math. It's a 50-50 shot when you flip that coin. Losing 11 out of 12 coin tosses is just insane.
Yeah.
Insanely bad luck. And this one, they didn't even get to call. They're the home. The visitors call. Tails. Oh, you win. And I don't even know what is going on there, but
Right.
that is, you lost the opening one again. You lost the overtime one again.
There's nothing you can do for that. It's just
Exactly.
guess. Just guess and hope for the best. And it
hold
doesn't
them to
matter
the
anyway
field goal.
because both teams got a chance, right? But before we get into that, let's just talk Justin Jefferson. Oh my God. Good.
Jesus. The first drive of the game, the
right.
first 2 catches he had were incredible.
And a lot of people are going to criticize the secondary because it's all backups, right? Jordan Poirier's out.
There was good coverage on those.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was going to say is, these guys are in position. You just can't guard Justin Jefferson. He was just not going to be denied.
I will say the one crazy catch that everybody's talking about where he went to the ground and he somehow maintained it and he was fighting off. I believe that one was Dane Jackson, right? That one I was angry
Cam
about.
Lewis. That was Cam Lewis.
Oh, was it? Don't tell me it was Cam Lewis. Now you're really talking a replacement. Either way, you have to know the situation. It's your job. Know the situation. Know how to play football. Cam Lewis does not know how to play football.
We tried to make the
pick.
pick.
Ball is coming at you. You punch the damn thing out of bounds.
No,
You don't try to catch it. You don't put two hands up
no, you
like
try to
this.
get the turnover. That's what he's trying to get.
It's 4th down. It was 4th and 29. Yeah. If you catch it, you're in worse position.
Right. He's going to beat himself up for that. But,
Stupid.
End of the day, it's
know
anybody.
How to play football.
The ball's getting thrown at your face. You're going to try to catch it. It's just everyone has that instinct.
Bullshit. He jumped with two hands. It's his job. He gets paid $1 million to know better. Punch the ball out of bounds. Do not try and catch. And Jefferson at that point was 5 yards ahead of him, right? And he went up like this, and Jefferson just came and snagged it away from him because Jefferson is a friggin' beast, and Cam Lewis is a tiny cornerback, backup cornerback. Yeah, I mean, I was mad about that because I'm like, why are you trying to go?
Vikings had a good day for him, but the Vikings are. Justin Jefferson was not going to be denied, and this offense played pretty well. They were under a lot of pressure. Kirk Cousins was under a ton of pressure from the defensive line for Buffalo, but got rid of the ball on time, made some big plays, and they didn't lose sight of who they are, right? They just kept going to Justin Jefferson.
Yep.
And then, Dalvin Cook, the 1-2 there. I mean, that's hard for anybody to stop. The bigger story here is the collapse of the Bills.
Yeah.
They have 2 field goals in the second half, one in the third quarter, one in the fourth quarter. You get to overtime. Josh Allen gets the ball down the field, but the big thing is these turnovers that we've been seeing from him. Yeah. What is going on here?
I wish I knew. We were talking a little before we went on that was the biggest puzzle for me. I tweeted after the game and I said that I am not like a tape or an analyst. My biggest fear is that they're not coaching Josh Allen enough now. They're like, oh, you're elite enough. You get it. You do all the work. We know you put it in. Ken Dorsey, the offensive coordinator, was the QB coach. So he knows somebody's got to talk to Josh Allen and say to him, Josh, you suck in the red zone right now. What are you doing? What are you seeing? And break down the plays and say, Josh, this guy's wide open. Why the hell are you throwing it over there?
Right. Well, Josh
what is going wrong? He needs to.
We have to acknowledge this. Josh has been phenomenal
player
in the red zone. He's been one of the best players in the red zone of all time.
Yeah. Well, not this year.
Well,
not this season.
Not the past few games. He's had a lot of turnovers, right? But he has only 4 interceptions in the red zone this season.
And it's just
key moment
play in the red zone.
Key moments,
he hasn't.
Right?
Yeah, he hasn't been able to score either.
Right. He's 48% passing in the red zone too. So
bad mistakes. Great. So that's what I mean with coaching. Josh Allen is a very coachable player. That's why he's as good as he is right now. He knows how to learn from his mistakes. So I'm hopeful that those guys are in there saying, this is how we're going to break this down and we're going to do this. And they're not taking it easy on him because he's an elite QB now, right? No, he should not do that. Josh Allen doesn't want that. But I'm saying that might be the apathy in the room. It's either that or Josh Allen is full of himself all of a sudden, which I definitely don't believe is the case. He's not that kind of guy. He's not ever going to be that guy. But it's just something is not right in the red zone. He clearly is not seeing. I want him to run more than pass in the red zone. He had those 2 rushing touchdowns in the game before. I'm like, oh my God, run in the red zone. Don't pass in the red zone, run in the red zone. And he did have 2 runs on that same overtime drive, by the way, when they just were They left it wide open for him, though.
Yeah, those are great.
Any quarterback would have taken that free yardage. And when it's Josh Allen, he gets 10 extra on top of that.
But my thing is everyone's panicking.
Yeah,
Josh.
It's not.
This is kind of who Josh Allen is. He gets, I don't want to say overconfident, but he's just got such a great arm that he tries to squeeze it in tight holes too often. And I do think defenses are really starting to pick up on some of his tendencies. He's going to try to squeeze it in, right? And he does resort back to that wild Wyoming quarterback once in a while. We always have seen this in Josh's career. It's just, I think maybe it was well managed last year, little more well managed. We didn't see it as often, maybe, but definitely the past 2 weeks, wild Wyoming Josh has come out a little bit again.
Yes,
but that's hard for anybody to just get rid of forever. Josh, when Josh is on, it's some of the highest caliber quarterback play we've ever seen.
Yes.
Quarterback rating's phenomenal.
And on the positive side,
he's always been a volatile quarterback where he's going to have bad games and good games. There's been many instances where Josh Allen just puts the team on his back because the passing game's not working and he'll run and it's effective, right?
Yes. And I was going to say the most positive thing from this week, that elbow did not seem to affect him at all, except the stupid, again, Josh Allen, you're right. He's volatile. Call him what you want. He has a lot of heart, but he has no brain cells sometimes. None existing in his face when he threw that interception, and then he goes and tries to make the tackle. Oh my God, I almost exploded. I almost spontaneously combusted at that because I'm like, Josh Allen, are you incredibly stupid that you're trying to tackle somebody? You don't care if he runs 9,000 yards and gets a touchdown. Do not touch him. Do not throw your arm on him, your injured arm, whatever. I mean, obviously he was good enough to go, and we're happy, and it didn't seem to affect him all game, and that play didn't seem to. But holy cow, he goes down, and he's like in pain, and as it goes to commercial, and all of Bill's Mafia is holding their breath again, and it's like, Josh, no, don't ever, I don't care who you are, what situation is, do not ever do that, because then we're really screwed, and we're not going to win anymore. So, yeah, that was probably his worst moment of the game, where I was just like, okay, Josh, you made the bonehead mistake, and I get you're mad about it, but it's not your job to fix it. Let everybody else tackle that guy, because you're not the one to do it.
Yeah, Josh is going to have to fix that in practice, not in the game, right?
Yeah.
You threw the prick. You're going to have to look at that up on the film, not try to punch the ball in the moment, right?
But don't go after the guy.
Yeah, so it's pretty wild, though, because Josh is, he's at that superstar level. Expectations are impossible, right? He was crowned the MVP in the first 5 weeks.
Yeah, he literally they've named him midseason.
And the Bills have been the Super Bowl favorite all offseason, and to this point all season. That's probably changed now. But
well, that underdog mentality better be back, because you lose the number 1 seed. You lose the division lead twice, right? Twice over.
Right,
so, I mean, you're in not a good position right now. The good thing is you're still the same team. You still have the same schedule.
Right.
You're still going to win the games that I think they're going to win. As a Bills fan, I mean, that was one of the most upsetting games ever, because they had the win, and it was there for them. And it means a lot, because just as we discussed on the preseason, even if we win out now, you don't have the number 1 seed to Kansas City. You got to go play them in Kansas City. Can they beat them there? Yes, I'm confident that the Bills can beat them in Kansas City. But is it easier? No, it's harder than if they had to come to Buffalo. Period. End of story. Can Kansas City beat Buffalo in Kansas City? Yes. Can Kansas City beat the Bills in Buffalo? Nobody knows. Nobody knows that answer. And I'm afraid that we're not going to see it yet again. Even if it's not Kansas City Buffalo in the AFC Championship. It's just that the Bills have lost the advantage of having
the only advantage they've really lost is head-to-head with Kansas City. Right. But really, for Buffalo at this point, who gives a shit about the 1 seed? You got to win this division. The division's way more competitive than anybody recognized, right? So that's the main priority. To hell with the 1 seed.
Yep.
If you can win
the division. That's what it would have been if expectation wasn't, you're the Super Bowl favorite hands down, right? Coming into the season. The expectation in the room is just win the division. That's all you got to do. And then take care of business.
Because you already won the head-to-head with Tennessee, you won the head-to-head with the Ravens, and you've won the head-to-head with Kansas City, but you've lost 2 division games. So the spot now is you still have to play 3 divisional games, 4 divisional games. They have the Patriots twice.
Yep.
Miami and the Jets. You got to win all of them. You got to win 3 or 4.
You got to win them all. The Jets and Miami already beat you.
Right.
And New England is far inferior.
The rest is they'll fall where they fall. But if the goal is to truly play home playoff games in Buffalo, the new goal is to beat the Jets and beat Miami and beat New England once.
Yes.
That'll be enough.
Twice.
And then hope Kansas City loses a game or
Can't
2.
lose to another inferior.
Which Kansas City, we already said. I already told you. Kansas City's the 1 seed.
Yep. Now it's true. There's nothing we can do about that.
This game really shook up the AFC and the NFC.
Yes, the NFC. And now the Vikings, who are being called into question, have their exclamation point game, right? Like their statement game to say, we beat Buffalo in Buffalo with Josh Allen playing. No excuses. We beat them. It took overtime. It was a hell of a
give them
brawl.
credit, because it didn't look pretty early on, right?
No.
And Minnesota looked outmatched. They couldn't get anything going on offense. and then something switched. But that's how they've been playing all year long, right? Something switches for them in the fourth quarter, and then they make it happen, and that's why they're 8-1.
Yeah,
Every game they've been in has been relatively
they kept
close.
talking about that, and then after they didn't get the touchdown, they were like, "Oh, I guess he isn't good enough to get it this time." And we probably are going to get another picture of Kirk Cousins in his gold chains.
Yep. So credit to Kevin O'Connell. The Vikings look great. They're fun to watch. You can't ignore it. So now they move to the second seed in the NFC, behind the Eagles, obviously, and they got a firm lead on that. They're going to lock that up early. So good for them. They're going to be tough out too, I think.
Oh yeah, they're going to the Super Bowl. I mean, again, I'm the only person on planet Earth who said that. All right. Yeah. Literally, the fans were pushing back on me saying, "Oh, I don't know, rookie head coach, don't give us those expectations." I am the only person on planet Earth who said that. And I said it would be over the Eagles. On top of that, the two top teams in the NFC are my predicted NFC championship game from the preseason. Not a lot of people can say that.
Looking good for you right now. But right now, it looks like Miami might be the team to beat in the AFC, not the Bills.
Miami gives up too many points. We could talk about that game again when it comes up. But
Kansas City now
30,
firmly
points to everybody.
Kansas City sitting alone in the AFC at the 1 seed. Miami now ahead in the AFC East. They have the 2 seed. The Titans get another win. They're 6-3. 3 seed Baltimore 6-3 as well. They have the AFC North, locked up at this point. The Jets 5, Bills are 6, and then the Patriots sneaking in there at 7. There's 3 teams that are 5-4. There is 4 teams that are 6-3. So there's just a lot of football to be played still, right? And these head-to-head matchups are going to be so important, and these are going to be fun games to watch. Yeah. If you think that was an emotional ride for Bills fans, it's going to be like that the rest of the way here.
It definitely was.
They're going to be tough games, and the Bills, if they are going to win a Super Bowl, they got to step up now, right?
Yes,
that's what it's going to take.
This is that now you're back at the adversity side, like, oh, everybody's giving up on us again, and we got to show them that we are legit again. So maybe McDermott can coach better from that stance, because he has in the past, and hopefully that'll rally the guys.
Yeah,
to that.
It's not looking great. We'll have to take a look at the odds on the preview show and see what the Bills' Super Bowl odds have fallen to. Because
that's a good question.
Yeah. Not an easy path. There's 3 teams, really 2 teams in the hunt for the AFC. Chargers, Bengals are at 5-4, and the Colts 4-5-1. I'm going to say it right now. The Chargers, to me, are not a playoff team. They look just like they did last year. They're going to come down to week 17 or something like that, and they're going to lose.
Yeah, that's exactly
they're just not playing up to their caliber right now.
Certainly not with the guys they have on both sides of the ball.
They look one-dimensional. They just don't have a lot of options. They got to get some weapons for Herbert. Something's off with Herbert this year. He just doesn't look as good as
he had that injury, and the ribs, and he's looked like that hasn't affected him as much as people thought it might after that one game, I think.
But who's their playmaker?
Next game.
You look at Tua, and Tua's having a great year.
Right? Keenan Allen.
And I think we have been wrong about Tua. You got to say it, because the Drew Brees stuff's clicking now, right? And that was always the way he was going to succeed in the NFL was through that way. And he looks phenomenal. But the weapons he has is just unmatched.
Very true.
It's unmatched. Also. My
pretty
God.
sure any quarterback in the NFL would love to have those 2 guys. That's what I'm saying.
These teams who are trying to be good teams. The Chargers, you're in the same division as Kansas City. I don't understand why you don't bring in players on offense. I don't understand.
Well, even their defense, right? Their defense, they brought everybody in.
They try in here and there, but
Bosa, man,
load it up. Kansas City has 8 guys they can rely on.
Samuel, they brought in a ton of guys on that defense.
And the Bills need to be in this conversation as well because, I don't think they don't have 5 guys they can rely on week in, week out. They don't on offense.
This was another game where it was. The other guys got involved, which was good to see, right? You got Knox and Davis made a few good catches.
Sure.
But it was again the Stephon Diggs show, and you expected that in this game, being that he was playing his former team. But you're right. That do you rely on those guys? How much do you trust those guys? I mean,
Kansas
you're
City
right. I
has
don't know.
6 to 8 players that they can rely on and they use regularly.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills probably have 5.
4 or 5, yeah.
You know, and they have 4 running backs, and Singletary is the only one they trust. It seems like.
Cough.
You know,
Odell Beckham Jr. talk?
I mean,
question mark.
James Cook, anyone? Naeem Hines, anybody? You know, you had OJ Howard. I'm not sure what that was about. I haven't seen Tommy Sweeney all that much. You know what I mean?
No, he's been inactive.
So at least you can use OJ Howard here and there. You know,
I would be clamoring at this point. And early in the season, I said, we don't need him. I'd like him, but we don't need him. Now I'm saying we need him. Give me OBJ. Give me OBJ.
And we had this conversation last week. The Bills they're too much underdog. Way too much. It's a cute story and everything, but you're not the underdog anymore, but they want to be.
Yep.
We're going to start our 4th round pick. We're going to start this washed up receiver in McKenzie, who's never made it as a starting receiver. He's always been a gadget player. He's a starting receiver now.
Yeah.
It's too much underdog, right?
Yeah, they're trying to balance the cap that way too, though. That's
sure,
that's where it becomes delicate.
It doesn't work. Doesn't work.
Hasn't. Not there.
You know. I mean, I just like Kansas. When I watch Kansas City, they look in control. You know, the guys they go to are reliable, very reliable. And outside of Miami, I don't see any other teams in the AFC that have that kind of weaponry. The Bills play great defense, and their quarterback's a stud. He's going to have up and down games, but the guy can carry a team to win any game, right? So that's why they're a threat. Baltimore in that same conversation. But these other teams, I don't see any contenders. Anybody who can play Kansas City and win, I don't see it. It's Miami and Buffalo and everybody else.
Agreed.
And Baltimore could pull it off. I like their defense and I like their quarterback this year. So I'll
throw
them. But I mean, who are they going
to until the 4th quarter?
You can't beat Kansas City if you don't have a receiver. The Baltimore Ravens don't have any receivers. You know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, the Titans played good defense and were beating them, but then gave way.
Sure.
The bridge broke at the end of the game. So
Kansas City in the playoffs is different, though. It's different. I mean, the Bengals beat them twice, but they got to get to the playoffs first.
Yeah.
So I guess we could throw the Bengals in there, but I'm talking about the Chargers, the Jets, the Patriots, and the Titans. They're just not contenders.
No, they're not at all.
Let's go to the NFC real quick, and we'll move on. Eagles 1, Vikings 2, Seattle's 3. They hold on to the 3 spot after the loss.
That's amazing.
Buccaneers 4. They're at 5-5 now ahead of the division. Things are starting to work out for them the way they're supposed to. The Giants sitting there at 5. They're 2 games out of the top spot in the NFC East. Maybe 3 games. Not sure if they've lost to Philly yet. Dallas now at 6-3. They're the 6th seed, and the 49ers slide into the 7th seed. There's 4 teams in the hunt. The Commanders only 1 game out.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They're 4-5. Green Bay, Falcons, and Cardinals all 4-6.
Yeah, I think that's exactly where it's going to stay. Really, I don't know. Yeah. Even with the last spot there, I mean, it could get wild toward the end. If the Commanders make the playoffs, that would certainly be shocking, but it wouldn't be the end of the world type stuff. I mean, I think it's predictable that could happen. They're not going to make a run. They're not going to compete with those elite teams. I think even Dallas with the loss this week looks, not as good as everybody thought they might be. So who are your teams in the NFC other than the Eagles and the Vikings?
Well, you got to look at competition. Like
the Giants.
The NFC is still much more wide open than the AFC.
It is.
And that's because you don't have a Kansas City in the NFC. That's really it. I guess we're crowning Eagles are the team to beat. I think the Vikings can beat them.
Yes, I do. They played them earlier and lost, but I still think
I would pick the Vikings to beat them, I think.
Me too. At this point, plus TJ Hawkinson now.
Right. I mean, that's such a difference maker for them. It really is.
He's a game-changing weapon.
Yeah.
So on any team.
I don't trust these quarterbacks. I mean, Jalen Hurts is a much more of a playmaker than Kirk Cousins, and that's kind of holding me back a little bit. But like none of these quarterbacks, look at the quarterbacks in the NFC playoffs right now. Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback. It's not even close. If you want to put Tom there, fine. That's fine with me. I guess Tom Brady's the best quarterback in the NFC playoff race. Jalen Hurts, Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith, Tom Brady, Daniel Jones, Dak Prescott, and Jimmy Garoppolo.
It gets ugly.
Which quarterback do you like? It's got to be Tom, right?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, who do you trust the most there?
But still, Tom's they're not doing anything super special.
On his team, Jimmy Garoppolo can do, but and same thing with all these guys. Heineke on the one.
Oh my God.
But
could we actually make the argument that Geno Smith's the best quarterback in the NFC? It's got to be Jalen Hurts. And we're getting a little off topic.
Hurts is definitely,
It's definitely Jalen Hurts.
And
number
don't
2 is Geno.
Cousins. Don't disrespect Cousins. He's okay too.
Well,
he can make the plays. His pocket presence there against the Bills very much showed. He made a few boneheaded mistakes, a couple of interceptions that were like him too. Like who was he throwing to? I could have caught that interception. But yeah, so we'll see. But I think that the quarterbacks who are there,
I guess you got to put Dak in there,
are there for the reasons of their team, right? Would Geno Smith be in the playoffs if he didn't have that roster of running back, wide receiver?
Right.
Maybe not. And I don't think anybody would give him a chance if he had the Commanders roster, right? Like
there's only let's go. There's probably only 4 teams that are complete teams. And that's the Eagles, Vikings. The Cowboys are a complete team. They have a lot of weapons, great defense, great running game.
No coaching, apparently.
Well, you're going to drop games here and there, right? This is in Lambeau Field. We'll get into that. Those are 3 complete teams. And now we get into the second tier. If you want to put Seattle as a complete team, I don't think I could disagree with you too much. Because I think Kenny Walker's a difference maker for the running game. And then they have weapons. Their defense has me concerned. So I would say no to that. Tampa Bay can't run the football. And the 49ers, I'm not real sure about them.
I like the 49ers, but they did not do as well as I thought they would against the Chargers.
I'd say they're a complete team, and I think they ultimately win the division. I do.
Yes,
this is the first game that's actually healthy, right? They had Deebo Samuel back.
They're getting their defensive players back. They're only getting better.
Yeah. And their defense is actually playing great this year.
Their needle is moving in the right direction for sure.
So I think we have, at the end of the day, we have 4 teams and everyone else in the NFC, and that's the Eagles, Vikings, Cowboys, and 49ers.
49ers, yeah.
You can't discount the Giants. But
the Giants would lose miserably to all 4 of those teams.
We're going to find out.
That's what I think. Yeah, well, they're going to. Yeah.
We're going to find out, but I think those 4 are the teams to beat. I don't trust Tampa Bay. They're not scoring a lot of points.
Nope. I think that I would take the 49ers over them for sure.
49ers,
Dallas, maybe, depending on if it's a good day or bad day for Dallas. But I would,
the 49ers are limited by their quarterback, though. Let's not forget.
Right. Definitely. But they don't need him when they
playoff time, and that's the questions we have for Jalen Hurts now. We know the guy's probably the MVP at this point. Or is it Tua? We'll talk about that later. But can Hurts win a playoff game, right? He struggled last year in the playoffs. Kirk Cousins has struggled in the playoffs.
Yes.
Jimmy G struggled in the playoffs. So
somebody's got to step up.
I think everyone struggles.
Somebody's got to step up. The Dallas has struggled in the playoffs too. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what we got going on.
What we can guarantee is a team in the NFC will make the Super Bowl. So one of them has to be there.
All right, next topic here. We got the NFL's Players Union wants the NFL to abandon turf fields in 6 locations. You've probably seen this on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, all the players tweeting out, "Hey, we don't want this shitty turf anymore."
Yeah, because it causes a lot of injuries.
I think ACL. I saw a little thing that said ACLs are down, but high ankle sprains are up on these fields, and that's MetLife Stadium. So that's 2 teams: Jets, Giants. Lions, Vikings, Saints, Colts, and Bengals. Those are on the chopping block to get new turf.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's okay. It's slit film turf has a higher in-game injury rate compared to other player surfaces. Non-contact injuries and foot and ankle injuries are among the injuries that statistically occur more on slit film turf, according to J.C. Treader, union president.
Right. And I think I'm on board with this change, that the older style, not even older style, different style turf fields, like, 'cause the Bills is technically a synthetic field, right? It's not real grass that they're playing on. It's synthetic, but it's one of the different types that is made to look like real grass and has those little beads and all of that. But these types are the ones that statistically, they did the analysis and they say, hey, this is what we're seeing with this. So clearly there's something in that composition that isn't working for the players. I think I'm 100% on the player side here, right? They're saying, look, you paid for this kind of turf. There are other options out there that don't do this. Replace that one with this one, because it's affecting our play on the field. And I'm totally on board with that.
Right, sure. And I mean, I'd love to see them combat ACLs. Concussions is always going to be number one, but ACLs is just, as a fan, you see the players get hurt and they're out for the whole year. It's just like it hurt. It kills teams. It's bad for the fan experience. But yeah, CBS.com reporting on that. Check it out. The article's called NFLPA President Calls for Immediate Replacement and Ban of Slit Film Turf Among Other Players' Safety Measures. Brian Diardo.
And you are seeing, like, at least with the Bills, who are probably the only new stadium currently in the works, right? They are going to go back to a real grass field for that. So you're seeing shifts away from turfs that have caused
There's no reason you can't have grass
in the past. Yeah.
With this kind of revenue,
it's harder to maintain.
Sure,
and that's the only
don't get cheap on the field.
Exactly.
You're already going
and
cheap
drainage and all that.
I mean,
got to figure all that out. But it's 2022.
Back to these teams, because I guess I've never been to any of these
big markets. Yeah, big markets. You're talking New York City. I mean, that's your big market. New Jersey.
Right, but I think the NFL, where they are, you have the data on this. I think it's a no-brainer. If the data proves that it's bad, then you got to change it.
Exactly.
I don't see a reason. I really don't see why they can't be grass, or can we artificial grass at this point?
At least use the different turf that doesn't have this issue.
Right. And turf is weird to me. I don't know. It seems like the cheap route.
Yep. It is. Maintenance wise, that's why they do it, right? It's always going to look shiny for game day.
Right.
You don't have to worry about, it got too much sun and now this spot is, lighter than that spot or whatever. So real grass is harder to maintain, but you have enough money for sure that should not be a problem.
Right. Yeah. And they're only asking for 6 at this point. It's a good place to start, and you see what the data says. If it's better, it's better. If it's not, at least we tried. So yeah, no brainer there. But that's going to be cycling around the league. You'll see tons of headlines and player tweets and stuff like that. All right, let's get into a rapid reaction. 1 take per team. There we go. Can you hear me? Sometimes that music goes off and you can't hear me after a moment.
Oh, I lost you. No, I couldn't hear you. We're good, though.
We're back. I started off Thursday night last week. Falcons, Panthers. Shocker. I don't know what Marcus Mariota's going. My theory is they said, let it rip. Try to beat Josh Allen. Try to beat Pat Mahomes. Roll out, make plays. And that doesn't work. It just doesn't work for him.
I don't know what's going on there either. This was a winnable game for the Falcons. They could have maintained the division lead with a win. Instead, they lose, and they lose the division lead now. And now they're playing from behind, and we're an underdog to begin with. So it's kind of hard to see them regaining that ground, especially when you lose to the Panthers, who are a team that is confused about what's going on. They start, Walker, and they put in, Baker Mayfield in the last game. So there's questions at quarterback. They do have a good run game there, but it's backup guys after they traded Christian McCaffrey. And you allow them to run all over you and score 25 points? a team that doesn't even know what's going on right now.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a
Tough one
really
for the
bad
Falcons
look for
there.
the competitive Falcons. I think that now they're going to be playing from behind and not able to catch up. They're out.
Yeah, now they're behind Tampa Bay. Looks like they have the Bears coming up. Make sure I get this right here. Yeah, Bears this weekend for the Falcons. Commanders after that. Tampa Bay is the last week of the season, so that'll be their opportunity. Stay in the hunt so they can at least make that last game meaningful, right?
I
Do the
think
best you
they'll
can.
have it locked
But
up,
yeah, they're probably done. Anyway, Munich, Germany, Seattle 16, the Buccaneers 21. These fans though, like they know how to have a good time. Like
right?
we gotta talk about that. Like, why can't we all hug each other in different jerseys?
Yeah, it was it was an awesome sight. I mean, it was fun to see, and their beers are the size of like pitchers of beer. That was awesome.
Right.
I absolutely
I'd like to see
loved
the
watching
prices.
the highlights from this one.
I'm gonna be furious if other countries are getting cheap beer. In America, we're paying $15 for a
I know,
Busch Light.
right?
I mean,
It's
that's
like water in there in Germany, right?
But anyway, like that's how you're supposed to be a fan, right? Just because someone's wearing a different jersey doesn't mean you have to be an asshole all the time. You know, you don't have to throw shit at them. You don't have to yell at them. We're all here to watch the game.
Yes.
I feel like some fan bases need a little reminder of that. It's just a game, you know. And I think that Munich Germany game kind of reminded some people of that. It was good to see the harmony.
It was.
You
it
know.
was. It was fun to see the crowd and to see the different jerseys, and it wasn't just the two teams playing either. Lots of different jerseys. Who knew there was so many NFL football fans over there in Germany and Munich? So, but the game itself, the Bucs get the win that they needed to maintain their momentum. Seahawks finally get a loss that, you know, looks like they should have lost, right? They didn't play as well in this game, but it was still very winnable game for them. I mean, the score is close, right? They were still in it, holding on to hope. Granted, the points were in the fourth quarter, and you know, they needed an onside kick or a miracle to get that last ditch effort, and it wasn't good enough. But yeah, Seahawks, a little bit of a disappointment, a little bit of a setback, but still okay in your position. Bucs maintaining momentum, even though it's not a pretty game for them either. They maintain momentum in the right direction.
Yep, but Tampa Bay still 31st in rushing. They're immediately behind 1, 2, 3, 4.
They did have a rushing
8.
touchdown.
There's 8 teams ahead of them that already had a bye week, and they're still behind them. The only team worse than the Buccaneers in rushing is the Los Angeles Rams. Not good for them. So until they get that fixed, I don't see them being contenders. I really don't. Vikings, Bills. Speaking of contenders, 2 of them here. Vikings are real ones. Bills, I think, will bounce back. But what a crazy, crazy game this was. Man, we talked about it a lot already.
Yeah.
But Justin Jefferson, hats off to him. What a game. That's a number 1 receiver. Is there anybody in the game better than him right now?
Mm-hmm.
No?
No? Diggs. Jefferson's
that may have changed.
Yeah. Yep. Well,
193 yards, 10 receptions for Jefferson. Hawkinson, 7 receptions, 45 yards.
Big catches.
Big addition for them. So the Vikings are rolling. Josh Allen, 2 interceptions, both red zone.
Uncharacteristic.
Overall quarterback rating 78. Diggs, 12 receptions, 128 yards. Could have been a great story had they got the win. What else we got?
It's not often you score 30 points and it was this embarrassingly bad, because it was only 6 points in the second half. I think that's worth noting here, right? Like you scored 30 points.
Well, it wouldn't be so bad.
Really bad on offense.
Right. If you didn't have a 17-point lead, it wouldn't be as bad. But it always hurts when you blow leads. It always does. But Vikings definitely going to be clinching early for the playoffs, clinching the division early. And the Bills got a long road ahead of them, as the entire AFC East is in the playoffs right now, as we stand. So, next one. Lions 31, Bears 30. Crazy game.
The battle for last place in that division, really. And both teams struggling on defense. Lions got their offensive weapons back. Bears really turned the offense up a notch last week. We're starting to see what Fields can do both with his feet and a little bit of passing thrown in, mainly with his feet in this game too. Certainly the back and forth game looked like the Bears had it through about 3.5 quarters. And then all of a sudden the Lions came out of nowhere and just turned it up a notch and used their weapons. Amon-Ra St. Brown, DeAndre Swift, right? Goff played well, and the Bears are vulnerable. We knew that coming into this game. We knew both teams were vulnerable here to giving up a lot of points. But I really thought the Bears were going to win it. And again, for 3.5 quarters at least, it looked like it was all Bears. The Bears were going to win it. Lions made that roaring comeback and were able to put it away and steal the momentum away and just keep it going. So good on the Lions for finally being able to punch one through and actually get the W out of it, because they've been playing close in games like this all year.
All right, Justin Fields still continues to be a threat on the ground, 147 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Insane. He's officially the best running quarterback in the whole league.
Right
for the Lions, momentum? Maybe. Maybe.
I don't know.
It's a big win for them, though. And they
big win. It's good to have their weapons back.
So that's 2 in a row for them.
First game that Amon-Ra St. Brown and Swift were back.
That's huge. All right, Jaguars at Kansas City. Kansas City 27-17 in this one. As predicted, right?
I wish the Jaguars scored one more point, because that would have made it within the range of the line, which was 9.5. So go Vegas on that line. They won a lot on that one. Yes, the Chiefs, we knew they were going to win this game, and the Jags were just trying to stay competitive. And for the most part, they did, I'd say, but do what they needed to do. But it's the Chiefs and the Jags. Both teams came out looking like where they belong.
Right. Kadarius Toney had a big day for the Chiefs.
Big touchdown.
Using the additions, right?
First NFL touchdown for Toney. Crazy.
Was it really? I didn't know that.
Yes. Yeah. 4 touchdowns for Pat Mahomes. Just a casual day at the office.
Yeah,
like I
did see that. 331 yards for him. They just make it look easy. Everyone in the whole team looks comfortable.
Yes.
Their preparation must be on point.
And how about this connection between Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk on the other side, right?
Yeah.
That's not to be overlooked. I mean, he had 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. So that's pretty good combination going for them. Whatever it is, those two have the chemistry for sure.
Right.
Something to build
more of that.
Jacksonville. Yeah.
You got to keep it going, right? Got to put it all together, get some wins, right? Browns 17, Dolphins 39. 285 yards passing on the day. And this running attack's the big story, right? Jeff Wilson, another midseason addition. It's just
Mostert and
him had a great day. It's overwhelming, right? And they're fast. It's so fast.
Yes. And here's another game where I think the Browns started beating themselves by not relying on their best player, right? How many week after week after week I say, run the ball, just do it. And they keep trying to pass, even when they're down. And in fact, I think Chubb did have a later touchdown in this game when they finally started giving him the ball, but it was too little too late. And, the Browns just couldn't hang with that offense. But you're giving up points. You're allowing them to come back. Dolphins, this was a good game for them.
Yep, too easy for them. And they are now atop of the AFC East and currently in the 2 seed behind Kansas City at 7-3. Add them to the conversation. Tua's in the MVP race now, and they are in the conversation for being the number 1 seed in the AFC. It's
true. I hate that, but it's true.
A lot of games left. Texans 16, Giants 24. Giants win another one their way.
Exactly.
Just
what
how
did
they
I
do
say?
it.
1 score, and that's all they need, right?
Yep.
It's a 1-score game, and they keep it close. That's how they like it. They just play their style. They play to their opponent, and there's nothing wrong with that, because as long as you beat your opponent, in the end, that's all that counts. Yeah,
Coach of the Year clearly is Brian Daboll.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, 2 more wins, and I think he locks it up, Barkley 152 yards on the ground, but huge credit to him. We'll continue to say it. I think their schedule's not so bad, really. The Giants have a pretty easy
the team is not as good as the record indicates still.
And
it will be until the playoffs. But
you are what your record says you are. That's true. Okay, Broncos at Tennessee. Broncos lose another one here, 10-17. I just think Broncos are the biggest disappointment of the year.
Absolutely. I was looking for Russell Wilson's stat line in this. 21 of 42, a solid 50% passing for 286 yards and 1 touchdown. It's just not good enough. You have the weapons. What is going on there? I don't know. They lost their running back early in the season. Okay, but you have Russell Wilson and all of these weapons for a reason. You should be able to have serviceable running back do the job. And it's just not working out for them at all on offense. They can't get anything going.
Yeah.
Credit to the Titans defense as well, playing their game, continuing. They didn't freak out in this game when they were down early, and they came back and did their thing and were able to get what turned out to be a pretty easy win.
Yep, Broncos currently 32nd in the league in points per game at 14.6. Again, one of the big shocks of the year is that this offense is trash.
Yeah.
As for Tennessee, right there at 6-3. I mean, another Coach of the Year candidate, right? Mike Vrabel doing a lot with little.
Yeah.
Trade A.J. Brown. I don't think a lot of people gave them a chance.
Much clinch the playoffs, too. He's going to win the division. I mean, They could lose half their games. They're still going to win the division.
Right. And I'm not sure what their schedule looks like, but could we consider them for the 1 seed again? They had the 1 seed last year.
No. Kansas City and Buffalo will finish with better records.
They got tougher schedules, I feel like.
Yep, but I don't think they'll hold on.
All right, we'll talk later. Saints, highest turnover team in the league, highest penalized team in the league. The top 3 now, I think. It's not actually 1. Lose to the Steelers 20-10. I told you. How many times I got to tell you?
Call this one, yeah. I mean, it was ugly, yes. And Steelers came out playing great on defense, especially. I think that's really what gave them the edge here. And Saints just couldn't muster anything on offense. A pathetic 10 points, really, for them. And they had their weapons that are going to be available to them. Still Michael Thomas out for the season. But, yeah, Kamara not used well in this game, I thought. They did go down early, and I think that did shake them a little bit. So the Saints still in playoff contention hope at 3-7, which is crazy. But yeah.
But we are all Saints fans. If you're a Buffalo Bills fan, you got to be a Saints fan because most turnovers in the league. New Orleans Saints at 19, Buffalo Bills 2 with 18, and they're tied with the Colts.
Hey.
If you want to go to interceptions, the Saints number 1, Colts number 2, Bills 3, Patriots and Steelers. And the most penalized team in the league, Denver Broncos. Saints are now 3rd. But yeah, killer. It's just a killer at this point. But one team can fix it. One team's not going to be able to fix it, right? Saints, I think, they've been at the top for a while now. They're going to stay at the top. We'll see with Buffalo. Colts 25, Raiders 20. Touched on this game already a little bit. Jeff Saturday gets his first win. Is this Derek Carr? Is he on his way out? He was crying.
Should be.
Hate to see it. See it. And you got to feel bad for the guy because it is hard to show up every day. And I mean, they had Super Bowl aspirations at one point.
Yeah.
Remember
the Antonio Brown?
Well, that's way far back, but
that's what I mean. But Carr has been there through that. And that's what they're saying. Now you give him Devontae Adams and he's still not getting the W. Right. And that, maybe it's not all on him, but is 20 points enough? I don't know.
And the guy bought a house next to John Gruden. He thought for sure that was going to be the future, And it's just bad luck. They've traded away all their first-round picks.
Oh, bad.
They're just, it's a disaster.
Bad decisions
in Las Vegas.
Team.
And
restarting. Again.
If I'm Derek Carr, I want out.
Yeah, I think he should go to a different team. Give him another shot somewhere else.
But I think he's crying because he really wanted to be part of the team. He really wanted to lead the team to something, right? I think he maybe believed in it, and he's always had a positive attitude. Give him credit for that, and you just hate to see it, right? This franchise is in trouble, and now they're going to be in top 5. They got it positioned to get a quarterback, right?
Definitely.
All right, Cowboys overtime thriller at Green Bay. Green Bay pulls it off. Christian Watson. Go back and listen to our old Cover 1 stuff. That was my guy for Buffalo, Christian Watson. He's going to need 8 to 10 games to get up to speed because he's played in Division II at North Dakota State. But, man, when this guy figures it out, watch out, and that's what you're seeing. The guy's 6'5", and he ran a 4.3 40. He can stretch the field. And Green Bay figured out how to use him finally.
100% on the Cowboys. The Green Bay Packers get zero credit for this win. The Cowboys quit, and their coach collapsed in his old home. So
he went for it on that fourth down, and that really cost him. But
no credit to the Green Bay Packers. All the credit to the Dallas Cowboys for kicking themselves in the ass and losing this one.
Well, if they execute that fourth down, it's a different story, but I like the call to go for it.
No.
Try to win the game. It's always hard to win in Lambeau, and Mike McCarthy's like the motivation you need, right? To save your season. So that's what Green Bay
one of the best ones I saw after this Sunday slate of games was Mike McCarthy finally helps the Packers win a game.
I mean, it's all fun and stuff, but Mike McCarthy's going to the playoffs, and the Green Bay Packers are not.
Yeah, that's true.
So
there you go.
Mike McCarthy's got a hell of a playoff record. I think he's a good coach. A lot of people are down on him, but the guy's in the fucking playoffs all the time. Don't know what else
they had him dead in the water when Dak went down, and now look at him.
Right,
They're doing pretty well.
Yeah, he went in with Cooper Rush, right? Okay, Cardinals, Rams, as predicted. Rams are in big trouble. They're bad.
Well, neither starting quarterback played this game, right? That's the headline. And the real takeaway that I don't think people are discussing enough that we've talked about for 2 weeks already on this show is the Cardinals quarterback situation has to be called into question at this point. Kyler Murray not getting it done. The backup Colt McCoy comes in, and yes, the Rams are a bad team. Yes, they're collapsing around themselves, but gets a win. Colt McCoy gets the win. Maybe you don't want Kyler Murray back because Colt McCoy is getting it done.
Okay, 1-0. We like that. Cardinals uphill climb. They're 4-6. San Francisco at the 7th seed in the playoff hunt at 5-4. Looks like 3 games back for them. I think it's going to be a tough hill, but hey, still in it. All right, next one. Last one before we get to Monday Night Football. Chargers 16, 49ers 22. Chargers are dead to me. They're not a playoff team. I'm not picking them to be a playoff team anymore. And I'm not going to pick them in big games anymore.
You're late to that party, but
I'm
yes,
late.
The 49ers were didn't put together as impressive a game as I thought they would. Christian McCaffrey, not as impressive in this game as I thought he would. Elijah Mitchell had more carries than him, but again, the 49ers doing what they have to do to win games. I'm talking about the line. They don't care about that. They just want to win games, and they did it their way. Control the game. Don't rely on the quarterback. Rely on the run game and the defense. That's what they did, and they pushed the Chargers around in this one. They win.
Chargers have the Chiefs next week. Looks like Sunday Night Football. And they have Miami on the schedule. They have Tennessee on the schedule. The rest are pretty winnable for them, but I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I really don't.
AFC is tough. I don't.
AFC's got to play each other still, though. A lot of these matchups haven't happened.
I don't think so. Yep.
Let's see. The Chargers have Kansas City, Las Vegas, and the Broncos.
Lost, win.
So they only have 3 divisional games left, whereas I think, we talked about it earlier, Bills have 4. Many of the AFC East teams haven't played each other, so there's a lot of those left. So that could just be a little flaw in the schedule that we're seeing, but I don't think the Chargers make it. It's going to be probably.
They don't deserve it, that's for sure.
I think Cincinnati will come through on that one. Or who was the other team we're talking about?
I don't know. Because the Jets and New England are in right now.
Colts can sneak in. I don't know.
Don't think they'll put it together.
Anyways, Cardinals, Eagles going on right now.
Cardinals, Commanders. You said Cardinals.
Sorry, yes, Commanders, yes. 14-7 currently end of the first quarter here. Try to keep it within 10, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm hoping for. Jalen Hurts, Antonio Gibson with a touchdown, Dallas Goedert with the other touchdown. End of the first quarter. Looking like it'll be a competitive game like you expect in these divisional matchups. Philly just got the touchdown, so Washington will be getting the ball back. Back and forth. So keep it close enough, and that's all that matters. I want that W.
Yep. And we need to get Philly a loss here at some point, right?
Somewhere. It's bound to happen eventually. It's just a matter of when in that schedule.
Who can beat them, though? Let's look at this. This is fun.
The Giants, they haven't played the Giants yet, right?
And
But
Giants,
I
I mean,
I do give Philly the edge in those games. I do think Philly will win those games, but the Dallas game in Dallas, that's another tough opponent. We want to talk about
yeah, that
divisional
could be one they
matchups.
lose. That could be one.
Yep,
Tennessee,
that's another tough opponent.
Derrick
Plays
Henry's
defense
always
well.
tough.
Might be able to
Man,
match them for what they want to
Philadelphia
do.
is so big up front, though. Man,
Yeah.
they're just going to push these teams around. Yeah, I mean, can we have an undefeated season here? Dallas is a good hope to end that.
I think Dallas.
Packers are on the road. They're always, with a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, you're always capable of pulling off a win, right? Could it be Jeff Saturday and the Colts next week? That'd be a story, huh?
That would
be a story.
Wowza. That would certainly be a shocker.
But yeah, it looks like it's just they have to play the Giants twice. They have Dallas once and Tennessee. Saints, Bears, Packers. They have a chance to go undefeated. They really do.
It could happen, but it's unlikely. And probably if you're in that room, you're quietly thinking to yourself, we don't want to go undefeated. You want to have that bump in the road that shows you where you can improve before you get to the playoffs.
You got to lock up the home field first. The Vikings only lost one game so far.
That's true. That's true. But you have the head-to-head to them. So you can lose a game, and you still have that buffer. Yep. You still have control.
I mean, I wish – didn't they play like week 2 or something?
They did. Yep. It was early.
So I wish we knew we were watching the NFC showdown in that game. You know?
You wish you knew. I did know. I did know.
Yeah, but were we sure, though?
Absolutely. Why would I pick it if I wasn't sure? Come on now.
All right. Well, that's all we got. Thanks for tuning in with us. Check us out on Thursday at 7 p.m. for the Week 11 preview. Go through all the games. Anthony will give you his best bets. Anthony's still over 50% on the season. 3-3 this last week, or 3-2. Well, you have the Commanders, so unknown, right, but currently 2-2-1.
Yes, 2-2-1.
Could be 3-2-1 with the Commanders if they stay within 10. So that's pretty good. Haven't been below 500, maybe just once this year.
Yes, just
on the
bet
6.
Yeah, that's it.
6. Yep. So
just week 2. Everything else has been
keep it rolling.
Last week was a push, 2-2-2. Yep, it's looking good. So
so keep it rolling. And tune in with us Thursday. Check us out on Twitter at the Hoof Pod. You can always buy us a beer on our YouTube channel. Click buy us a beer. It's also in the description. What kind of beer do you like, Anthony?
Oh, I mean, everything depends on the situation, right? I'm not a big dark beer. I don't like dark beers. I like IPAs. I like lagers. IPAs. You know, I'll love, a casual.
We're going to get some like beer guys on the show here and get a
Coors Banquet
breakdown. Okay.
If you're talking like, store beers or whatever, Coors Banquet is my.
Okay, that's a nice go-to. A little Labatt Blue action. That's always a good go-to.
Yingling, right? You can't. We're shouting them out now, right? Free advertisements.
Yeah. Not mad. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, and talk to you next week.
Toss your hat in the ring.